Hey everyone, welcome to That Pedal Show. Viewers, comments and questions live. First show for 2026. Dan here.
Mick here, hello.
2026.
Common year 2026.
Common year, as opposed to Year of the Dog and Dragon and stuff.
No, I got... Hello everyone, Happy New Year. Happy New Gregorian Year.
Start as you mean to go on, Mick.
Somebody bought me the almanac. Do you know what the almanac is? It has a theme every year and it goes through the months. It talks about like the moon cycles.
Oh, all right.
All that kind of stuff. The theme this year is forests and trees, I think.
Okay.
So it talks about everything that you can look out for,
Right.
and it's really lovely. It's a lovely, lovely headspace and a very lovely thing. Anyway, kicks off by going, common year 2025,
Right.
Islamic year, like
Oh, all of that shenanigans.
Japanese year,
Yeah, okay.
blah blah blah,
Right.
Jewish year, blah 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 blah
Right,
blah. And
okay.
it's like, it's an interesting bit of perspective, isn't it?
It's very interesting.
It is an interesting bit of perspective. Anyway, happy 2026 to everybody, and thank you for being with us. BV, thank you for all the information
Yes,
as
BV.
usual,
Thank you, mate.
and being in the chat. Obviously, my machine has logged me out for the second time today. We've got a number of super chats coming in, so we'll prioritise those as usual. Dan seems to be addicted to playing the guitar again.
I have.
Oh dear.
I've had fun over the holidays. Just I've played a lot of guitar. It's been really wonderful.
you?
Yeah.
Oh mate, that's great.
Yeah, it's really good. I've been doing the artwork for my EP.
Oh,
I've come to an understanding that I suck at every form of artwork. I put my hands up at the end of word art on the Word documents. Like, I don't get this, I'll never get this. Every form of artistic expression through visual representation is just not my bag. That's
I suppose neurologically it's possible.
yeah.
Is it possible? I don't know.
Yeah. So, but anyway, that's all good.
It is really annoying that everything is set, ready to go. I'm logged in everywhere. I then go to do it and I get logged out, and it's really tremendously annoying. And it's not letting me log in.
Oh dear. Okay, so let's see. We've got Zoot Lewis is on. G'day, mate. Josh Lawless says, Mick, thank you for mentioning the Dan Huff record. I haven't stopped listening to it. It's so
Isn't it good?
Yeah, amazing.
It's really, really, really good.
Gordon Rankin, g'day, mate. Happy New Year, legends. Not bad weather today here in Cincinnati.
Oh, we've had the most fantastic weather here. Been very, very lucky people. Dry, sunny, and cold. It's beautiful.
I can do the cold. I can absolutely do the cold when it's sunny like this.
Yep.
It's magic. Even though the sun's only out for 3.5 hours a day, it's brilliant.
I'm loving it. I'm absolutely loving it. I've taken to going to night walks with the dog because the moon's so
those
bright,
pictures are incredible.
and it's just, oh god, it's just beautiful. So I'm trying to do two things at once here.
Telecaster Best says, Dan has a 65. Indeed, I do. Alan Baker, happy new dog year. 14182. Guys, there you go.
Yeah,
Times
there we
myself.
go.
Very good.
There we go.
Very good. Jeffrey White is on. Peter Brand and Albert says, podcast, Mick.
Thank you, Peter. I have managed to press record. Thank you. Honestly, I greatly appreciate the reminders. We should have a board up there with the tick box thing, shouldn't we, really? We did get a board
Right.
to help us with filming main shows, and that has helped. So maybe we can extend its use to VCQ. I've turned the super chats off because we've got about 25 in. So if you super chatted up until this point, we'll answer you. Otherwise, we won't. Yeah.
Nelly Bob 100 is on. Lavo Demuke is
Josh
on.
Lawless, Morley Robertson. How are you, Morley? Johnny T 5e3 is on.
Beautiful.
Digger 68 is on.
John Freeman 7717.
Plexico. Duncan,
Hey
how are you?
buddy.
Nice to hear from you. Michael Giliberto is on.
Reeves Electro is on. G'day mate.
Kristen Abbott. Hey, Chris. Hi, Marcus, as well.
Oh, how lovely.
Nice.
The whole gang's back together. Music Therapy Lass is on. G'day bud. Awesome.
Lovely. And Simon V. How are you, Simon? Good to hear from you.
Yes, mate.
Todd Roy. Cold as a witch's teat, he says, in Nova Scotia.
It is so cold.
Yeah, it is a little chilly. Good.
How was everyone's break? Did everyone get a break? Did everyone have some fun? Did everyone eat too much? Oh man, I've eaten like it's an Olympic sport.
That's
and
not like
I'm
you,
going
Dan.
for gold. It's been great. But I have been training a lot and it's
Yeah.
been brilliant.
That works.
Yeah.
Ooh, good. All right. Then let us leap into the super chats. Thank you for all your nice comments on the video roundup of the year. We did it slightly differently this year, just by talking about the things that had happened rather than stitching a bunch of clips together. Yeah. Thank you for watching and commenting on that. Moonlight Dog Walks sound wonderful, says I own a Bellisk. Yes. I mean, it's not super late because it's actually pitch black by 5:30, so you've only got to leave it till like 6:30 or 7 p.m. But I'm very lucky to live in a dark skies area, and it is magic. If you go out just as the sun is going down, you can watch the sun go down, and then within the next hour and a half, it's pitch black, and you can just the stars start appearing, and it is just
It's delightful.
brilliant.
Yeah.
I love it. Good. Okay. Marcus Reeves says Christmas shut me out into the new year with flu. Brilliant. There is a lot of it
There
about.
is a lot of that. I know.
Yeah.
I know that you hear that a lot, but there is genuinely a lot of that about.
Yeah.
I've managed to avoid all forms of illness. The end of the last year has been great.
I'm not saying anything. Okay. Let's go to the super chats then. Thank you everyone for super chatting. First in this week, first one of 2026 is Morley Robertson. Hey Morley.
Hey Molly, congratulations.
He says, Happy New Year D&M. I got a D&M drive for Christmas.
Oh, legend.
Nice. He says, is it buffered? If so, can I presume my volume pedal after the drive and before reverb must be low impedance? The volume will be in the loop of my QMX8.
So the pedal is not buffered when it's in bypass. When it's in bypass, it's true bypass. But when you turn an effect pedal on, unless it's a very unusual transformer design pedal, every pedal is buffered because it has to go through active circuitry and it creates a lower output impedance. So when you turn the D&M drive on, yes, it's going to be a lower output impedance signal, therefore it's buffered. But yes, when we talk about buffered generally, we're talking about the nature of the pedal when it's in its bypass state. The D&M drive is completely true bypass. So when you turn off each side, the circuits are removed from the signal path and you're going through the foot switch, but no active circuitry in place.
Let's work that back then. So the question is about volume pedals. I've never used one, so I don't know. So my assumption has always been, if you have a volume pedal right after your guitar, you want a passive, like 250k pot on it so that it works with your guitar nicely.
You want at
High
least
impedance.
500. You want at least 500k.
Okay.
At least 500k, because then at 250k, because remember that goes in parallel with what's coming out of the guitar.
Yeah.
So you want at least 500k.
Okay, so if the value is too small, everything will be too dark.
Exactly.
Okay. Further down the chain, we get into the low impedance thing, right? Because it's coming after.
Generally, there'll be something on.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
what if
exactly.
there's not something on? What if you've got a load of true bypass pedals and you've got your volume pedal in the middle?
It's just going to suck. Generally, because you've got true bypass, so you've got all the load going in and out of those foot switches, but then you've got the load of that, even if it's a 500k pot and it's that the most open, that resistor value is going directly in parallel with what's coming out on your volume pot here.
So just actually worse than having another pot in your guitar because you've got all the capacitance
exactly
of
that.
the cable that's
Exactly
going
that.
on. Okay, how does Landau get around it then? So Michael Landau, famous user of his volume pedal after his drive stages, before his wet effects, I think. Does that mean he's always got something on before?
It'll always be on, but he'll always have a low impedance signal hitting the volume pedal.
So it will be buffered.
Will be buffered, absolutely.
So the one way you could get around it is if it's going in a loop of your QMX 8. Oh no, you can't. I was going to say if it was in G3, you could turn on the.
But
Preamp.
just to say, what the QMX does, it gets rid of the load from the foot switches, and you're going through relays, so it cleans a lot of that up anyway. But if you've got nothing on at all, and you turn on the loop for your volume pedal, then that volume pedal will technically be in the resistance value of the pot will be in parallel with the resistance value of the pot on the guitar. But if you have anything turned on in the QMX, then you're using the impedance of that pedal that's going to push the input impedance of the volume pedal.
So we are saying then, generally speaking, if you're using the volume pedal downstream, you do want a low impedance one. Yeah?
Yeah, absolutely.
There we go. Hopefully we got there in the end. I've never really fully got my head around it, but I guess it's not that hard, Mac.
It's not that hard. The only time you wouldn't want, if let's say you've got it just before your delays, right at the end, the only time you wouldn't want that on is if generally you don't use anything before the delays.
Right.
But if you've always got something that's colouring the tone or, whatever, then you've got to imagine that the output impedance of the pedal that's in front of the volume pedal is going to be quite low. If you've got a really high input impedance on the volume pedal, what you might find is that you have the sweep of the volume pedal isn't very even.
Yeah, right.
But if you've got like a 50k input impedance of the volume pedal, and don't forget, all we're really after, if you look at what Pete Cornish says, is when you're matching impedances, you need to at least 10 times the impedance. So if I've got a 1k output impedance, say from a Boss pedal, all I need to match that is a 10k input impedance on the volume pedal. So if I'm more than that, if I'm 50k,
okay.
I'm matched, I'm good, right? 50k wouldn't work though, coming from the output impedance of the guitar.
No.
But from the output impedance of your pedal, perfect. And then you get a nice, even clean sweep.
Okay. I hope that was clear, Morley, and I hope that enables you to make a informed choice. Good. Somebody said... Gordon Rankin says, yeah, at 500k with everything off, you also have all the capacitance of the cables and so forth.
Exactly.
Really, at that point, you need an active volume pedal.
Yeah, that's exactly right, because it's all interaction with the capacitance or inductance and all that sort of stuff. Yeah, that's exactly right.
Marcus Guy is on, and he says, I discovered the show 6 weeks ago and started binge watching. Awesome job from all at TPS.
Oh, bless you, mate.
Welcome, Marcus. Welcome to the family.
Yes.
You'll find a lot of very lovely people out there in the chat. So, yeah, welcome. Okay, let's move along. Nice technical one to get us going. Happy New Year, says Johnny T. Mrs. T got me a TPS mug and long sleeve tee for Christmas.
Well done, Mrs. T.
Thank you, Mrs. T. And he says, I got a used Ricky 12 for Christmas.
Oh.
Compression is key. God, it's such a sound, isn't it? Such a sound. Such a sound. Congratulations on your
well
guitar,
done,
Johnny. Consider us marginally jealous. Digger68, hello Digger. He says, howdy legends. Question about the gig rig. Why is stereo set up to use 2 channels per pedal? What's the reason it isn't TRS on the ins and outs? I must have but too many stereo pedals.
Okay, so it's all about the amount of inputs that we've got into the matrix switcher. If you've got, when we designed the G3, originally G2, we had 2 stereo outputs on the end. 90% of the guys that we were, of the customers that we had, weren't using stereo pedals at all. So we had 2 loops at the end that were just never used. So what I thought was, okay, well, let's have 12 loops. And if you have got 1 stereo pedal, then you can assign pedals that you want, and assign it like that has just made it super, super flexible. Yeah.
There we are. I think we might be frozen, so I'll see if there's anything whatsoever I can do about that, which obviously there won't be. Yeah, they're excellent again, so hopefully it didn't freeze for too long. Sorry, people. Very stable internet connection, is it?
Yeah. Yeah. Hope that helps.
There we are. Dynasonical Filtertrons in Gretsch Penguins says C98766. I've got to say, I am definitely a Dynasonics person. The single coils. Ever since we did that day with Adam from Gretsch came along and brought a bunch of guitars in, and there was, I think it was the Dwayne Eddy guitar that he brought maybe, and I just couldn't get over the sound of the Dynasonics. I put them in my white one, but it never... I got some TV Jones ones that I put in here, but it just doesn't punch.
Yeah.
Like the other one did.
Yeah. That's punchy. Gee, that's a loud guitar.
It's a great guitar.
Yeah.
It's a really vibey guitar, but I don't know, maybe I need to spend some time with it. It just wasn't. Yeah. They have Gretsch have sent us the Abbey Road guitar.
Oh, have they?
Yeah, it's out there in a
Oh,
box.
it's fabulous.
Maybe I'll go and get it in a minute.
Oh,
so
just
looking forward to getting into that.
a couple of people have asked me just to repeat that. So I'll do it really quickly. There are 12. When we did G2, we had 2 stereo loops at the end, right? 90% of our customers never used a stereo pedal, and so we just had these 2 loops that were just never used. So I thought, well, why don't we have it up to the user how many stereo pedals that they want? So you can have up to 12 mono pedals, which is what most of our customers use. But if you want a stereo pedal at the end, you can assign a pair to be used as in stereo. If you want 3 stereo pedals, you can assign 3 pairs for stereo. So it's up to you. It means that you can utilize all the loops in the best way possible. The Atom has TRS on each of its 6 loops, so you can have 6 mono or 6 stereo. But in G3, it just, because there's only so many inputs on the matrix, so it made sense to me to just be able to assign how many stereo pedals that you want to use. That was the way that worked. And yeah, it's a groovy thing. So there we go. Gary Gallagher is on. This is just joining now. Much love to everyone. Hey mate, welcome. That's awesome. Muse Ahead, thoughts on adding a bias control in a fuzz face, in a silicon fuzz face? It's good for stacking gain, question mark. There are loads of fuzzes out there with bias controls on. That's probably, we do have a Marcus Reeves from Reeves Electro is in the chat. He's a fuzz face genius, and so he can tell you all the ins and outs of a bias control. But the one thing I do like about bias control is that you can find the level of gate, the spittiness. You can find that level that you like. And what I've always found interesting with the sort of gated fuzz is the amount of harmonics they add. So it's just finding that level that has enough clarity but still enough grit And that's what the bias controls, I find, personally, with fuzz faces are really good at. Basil Tiffany says, does Dan's voice sound a little odd? Cold maybe. I feel great. I walked in and Catherine said the same thing to me. She said, have you got a cold? I said, no. And then Mick said, have you got a cold? I was like, no, I feel great. I'm just in my deeper voice. It's yeah. But no, I'm good. Here we go.
Blinkers.
You right?
Yeah, I don't know if anyone's ever going to get to play one because getting out of the box was one of the hardest things that's ever been done. My man, look at that. That's purpley pink.
Oh my word, that's awesome. Oh, that's a pink that reminds me of some sort of food. Oh.
You're obsessed. Blancmange?
Blancmange, very good.
Did you have to eat that stuff as a kid? It's like, what is this?
No self-respecting Australian would go up to the son and go, son, today, for you to become a man, you must eat blancmange.
It wasn't a thing in
Not
Australia.
a thing.
No.
I'm really excited to see this.
This is like one of those unboxing videos.
It is. Unboxing live.
Oh, that looks nice.
Oh, look at the colour of it. It's like a brown burgundy thing.
Yeah, there's a lot of them with this colour. It's the wine red, I guess.
Oh, that is gorgeous.
Anyway. So, it looks like it might need a bit of
Setting up.
fetalization.
Right.
Bridges right down and some other things. Anyway, so Gretsch have done a guitar with Abbey Road.
Wow.
And they've worked on the electronics here, which I think you've got like a low pass.
Okay. Is it just two position?
Or indeed a high pass, which they've called the rumble.
Okay, cool.
It cuts out
Right.
all the stuff you'd get rid of
Yeah.
in a mix. Anyway, it looks nice. I think it's
beautiful.
just like a slightly nicer version than the thing I've got.
Right.
So it's an offshore one, so it's still relatively affordable.
Oh, cool.
Not an American one. Anyway, so we'll get into that. Blue Hotel. Works. There we are. There we are. Thank you, Gretsch, for sending that.
Everyone's saying that's classy. Yeah, it's very, very pretty looking.
Yeah. I think didn't George Harrison have one that colour?
He had all
Isn't
of them.
that the point?
All of the colours.
Maybe. Classy, says Josh Lawless. Stunning. Still got the old
Got a
tagger,
tagger on, yeah.
says Kay Cole.
Josh
Hooray.
Lawless says, reminds me of my Cantrell Les Paul. Yeah, that's a beautiful colour, those Les Pauls.
That's presumably wine red, is it?
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
it was a very popular colour for a
Yeah.
minute. Anyway, we better get on with the super chats, otherwise you know what's going to happen, Dan.
Yes.
Gies van der Esmerite. Gies van der Esmerite says, wishing you a superb 2026. And to you, Gies.
Yeah, let's all have a great year. I really think that we should all make a resolve just to have a flippin' fantastic year. It's all there in front of us. It's all there in front of us. I reckon we should collectively make an agreement to have everyone have a great year. You can just do it in the moment.
Yes.
There you go.
But
that's what I mean.
The way to have a great year is to have a good moment.
Now,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah,
And
yeah.
that's, yes, exactly. There we go.
But Dan, I love the sentiment and I think it's right.
Yes, I think so.
A rising tide lifts all ships.
There we go.
We're buffering again. You'd never think it was 2026, would you? How do you know? He says, how do you know when to change tubes? I run 2 PJs. Princeton
PV Juniors.
Juniors.
Princeton Juniors.
Pro Juniors. Pro Juniors. Let's say Pro
Junior.
Juniors. Wet dry for a few years now. Thanks for all the knowledge you've shared. It means a lot. Generally speaking, if you hammer the crap out of your amp, get it very overdriving. Preamp tubes, like, people will disagree with this, but preamp tubes, like, almost never.
Yeah, I think you change them for tonal reasons, preamp tubes, and once you've landed on it, Gordon Rankin, thank you mate, sent me ages ago this amazing old EF86 sort of military grade Mullard for the Matchless, and I put it in for the last couple of gigs. I was like, what a difference.
Really?
What a difference. It's astounding. But those preamp tubes, and even though the EF86 is a hard-wearing valve, and arguably the phase inverter is a hard-wearing valve, but they do tend to last forever.
Yeah.
But I would go so far as to say I think people change their power valves too often. Because I think they...
Yeah, it depends. I mean, if you change them and you notice a difference that you like, then change them as often as you like. But if you're running your 50-watt plexi dimed night after night after night, you're going to go through tubes. If you're running the thing at sort of sensible volume, and most of us are running our amps at sensible volume now, honestly, they last for years. They last for years. The one exception being EL84s, which is what you've got in your Pro Junior. The only amp in this place that we have to regularly change the tubes is our AC15.
Yeah.
Because it just sounds weak and then it starts going.
I would be surprised. I'd love to have a look at the schematic of the Pro Junior. One thing that I do know with the old Vox an AC30 is that still to this day, those amps are made with the cathode bias resistor. The value is for the old style valves that can really handle the plate voltage.
Pro Junior is almost certainly fixed bias, I would have thought.
Yeah, and so... Oh, okay, so you can get in there and mess with it. I thought it was a...
Yeah, wouldn't be a cathode... I strongly suspect it's not
okay, all right.
Self-biasing thing.
Okay.
Cathode biased. Let's have a look.
But so... One thing that... and Jesse Hoff from Lazy J showed me this, is that I think the normal cathode bias resistor value for an old Vox AC30 is 50 ohms. And when you're talking about old Mullard valves that are made for, to work with that plate voltage, they are amazing and sound great. Modern valves aren't the same. And so you need to get those working so they don't crap out every month. You change that from a 50 to a 75 or 80. And I've actually got a little switch that I modded in the back of my Vox to change, because I've got some old Mullards. So if I'm in the studio, I'll put those in, switch it on to 50 ohms, happy days. But then I will, running a general gigs, I'll put that onto 80 ohms with some JJs, and it sounds great and lasts forever. But I was just wondering if the Pro Junior had the same thing. I don't know what cathode the bias resistor value is.
It's fixed, but what I've just gathered from a quick Google search is that it's apparently biased quite hot.
Oh,
which
okay.
Means you will go through tubes a little quicker than...
But that's the sound, right? When it sounds different when you get them a little bit saucy.
Yeah. So I guess if it sounds... The good news is there's only two, right? You've got two EL84s in that amp, and EL84s are not dreadfully expensive, so it's not going to be the end of the world to change them. The only thing is, do you have to have it rebiased? It might be that you have to rebias them. That's one good thing about a lot of EL84 amps. You just pull them out and put new ones in, and you don't have to worry about biasing so much. If you've noticed a deterioration in the amp, if it's breaking up too much, if it's lost headroom, if it just sounds a bit off, it could be worth looking at.
Yeah. One of the features on my Hampstead RT60, which I think is genius and should be on every fixed bias amplifier, at the back, they've got two ports for your probe to go in, where you put it in, you can balance the valves up and then lift the whole thing up. So, and it gives you on the back of the amp, you can see where the middle voltage, milliamp voltage is for where it operates, and then where cold is and where hot is. It's like, you can do it in 30 seconds.
Yeah, Victory amps have bias points on the back.
On the back, every amp should have that.
I don't know if there's an adjustment port, but there's certainly you can certainly test it.
Yeah, it's very good. Headroom 1 says, are super chats still on? No, mate. We've turned the super chats off because we've got a lot to get through and it's 5:30.
Yes, and we are struggling for bandwidth, it would seem. Hope that answered the question, Geese. Good luck. Wastel10 says, Happy New Year to all. I've got a new wet dry rig, an Ecolet BS40. You have to try one. That does sound cool.
Wow.
As the wet amp and a Marshall SV20 for dry. I love it. Which fuzz type would you recommend?
Fuzz is such a personal thing. My favourite fuzz, and one that I've used for like most of last year, it's a fuzz by an Australian company called DevTech Audio, and it's their Gilmore-inspired Dark Side of the Moon fuzz, DSOMTM XYZ.
Dark
fuzz.
Moon of the Side.
Dark Moon of the Side.
Yeah.
These fuzz for dyslexics everywhere. and for me and the way I play, it's my favourite fuzz I've ever used. And I think it sounds absolutely extraordinary. And I can stick a treble booster into the front of it, and it's wonderful. But it won't do the spitty thing if that's your thing. You know, it's a very lovely, all full rounded, big sounding fuzz. I just think fuzz is such a personal thing.
Yeah, I would watch. We did a video a while back called Pillars of Fuzz or something.
Yeah,
and it talks about fuzz faces, big muffs, like an original Shin type Octafuzz, and also tone benders, and they are quite unique sounds. And once you have it in your head what those sounds are, you'll be able to pin it to certain records. So if you like Hendrix and the ilk of Hendrixy type things, then it's a fuzz face all the way. And if you want good cleanup off the guitar, it's a good traditional style fuzz face. If you want Billy Corgan, if you want Ernie Isley to a point, if you want like big woolly, really, let's say, I don't want to use too many pejorative terms, but it's a big muff. It can only be a big muff. Once you've heard one and you hear it, it can only be that. Tone bender is the fuzz that we would always recommend for someone who doesn't want to go all the way to like a fuzz face or a big muff and wants something that just sounds like a really good distortion pedal sometimes.
Yeah.
I mean, they can get crazy, crazy fuzzy, but I think they're always a good stepping stone into fuzz.
I agree 100% because they are completely authentic. They can have that complete vintage vibe to them.
Yeah.
Like, you got to lean into them and they react so well. However, there's so much more forgiving, like anywhere in the signal chain as well.
Yeah.
You don't have to know everything about buffers and stuff to get on with that sort of a...
And we would say start with a Mark 1 if you can find one, or a Mark 2. Once you get into 3 and 4, they take a step towards big muff territory for me anyway.
Agreed. That's
so
beautiful.
good luck. It's so personal.
It is.
So personal.
But what I would say is try and spend some time with a couple of them and just see if one connects with you. Because once you've gone down the fuzz thing, and everyone here will attest to that, and you find the fuzz, you're like, oh man, it's a glorious, glorious thing. Because it opens up a side to your playing and to the way you express with guitar that no other distortion pedal will do.
Yeah. And actually, watch this Friday's video. I end up using a fuzz pedal in a challenge from this Friday's video. There's times where you're like, it's just a distortion pedal. Doesn't sound like a fuzz pedal at all.
Yeah.
So
it sounds great.
It worked out.
Yeah. Headroom 1 says, please send TPS love to my golden retriever Ziggy, who passed a few days ago. He'll be greatly missed. Oh man, I get so choked up when I hear about that. Sending you love, my friend, and boy oh boy.
Yeah. Oh man.
It's a hard time, and we're with you. We're sending you all the love, mate. Boy oh boy.
Happy 11 and 26, says Plexico. Thank you, Duncan. 11 years of TPS, 2026, of course.
Wow.
Yeah. And it is the year 1126. Imagine if it was. Michael Giliberto. Hey, Michael. He says, hi, D&M and all. Happy New Year. 10 years after. And this channel goes to 11. Looking forward to a great year. No questions, so please take one from the chat if you will. We will, Michael.
Yep.
Let's see then. Here we go. I have a deluxe reverb, says Sean Eric Brooks. Hello, Sean. And I find I don't like the volume pass 4, but I need the amp to be louder and stay clean when I play with the drummer. Should I upgrade to a super or a twin? Yes.
Yes. The deluxe reverb tone just below 4 is heavenly, but I know exactly what you mean. That you get it past 4 and it's still awesome, but once you've reached the limit and you need to dig in, this is what I find the hardest thing with lower wattage amplifiers. I think they sound extraordinary, but as soon as Doug lifts and starts to really lay into it, and I want to lift with him, if it's not there, you're stuffed.
Yeah.
And you end up pushing harder here to try and get more out of the amp. If it's not there, it's never going to happen. So absolutely. Would you go super or twin?
I would ask what it is you don't like about the sound. So what happens...
Hey,
Deluxe reverbs are so interesting. Ours has a point...
Come on. Good girl.
Between... Here's
Good
Rosie.
girl.
Ours has a
Say
point
hello to
between
people.
4 and 5 where it just comes alive.
I know.
And below
I know.
4.5 on ours, it's kind of lifeless and it's okay. And then at about 4.5, it just sort of wakes up and the whole amp wakes up. The mid-range changes fundamentally. And then as you turn up from there, it overdrives. Two things happen. One, it overdrives. Two, the mid-range character changes fundamentally. So if you can identify if it's either of those things that you don't like about it when it changes, i.e. the mids become too prominent and or there's just too much overdriving compression. If it's an overdriving problem, a super or a twin would be great. And I'd probably go for a twin personally.
Yeah.
Super's a very specific thing, has a very, very specific sound, especially with the bright switch in the 10s.
Yeah.
Which
It's
you
the
may or may
10s.
not like. But to me, a twin does sound like a big deluxe reverb.
Yeah. Yeah. I think the twins, Fender twins have come in for a bit of stick because they are so open and clean, and you need to get your big boy pants on with a twin.
Well, it depends. It depends. The 65, 85 watt twin.
You're talking about the high powered tweed things.
No. Just the one that looks the same as our deluxe reverb, but is
Right.
a twin.
Oh, okay.
That's 85 watts. They're loudish, but you can make them overdrive pretty easy.
Right.
And actually, they're a very nice place to be. I always think. After that, after the black panel era, comes the silver panel era, and we get into like the 100-watt ones.
Yeah.
And they're a different game. They have a different level of clean headroom. Plus, if you then start adding things like JBL speakers, they can become brutally loud and brutally clean. But just the standard 65 reissue black panel twin, I think, is a fantastic amp. Don't discount the Hot Rod.
Oh,
Don't
great
discount
shout.
the Hot Rod DeVille.
Yeah.
I mean, talk about loud and clean. We
Yeah.
have the ML version on this channel quite a bit.
Amazing.
And man, that is a great sounding amp.
Yeah.
And quite significantly less expensive than a twin as well. So
Yeah.
yeah. But easy answer, I would say twin. Look, Rosie's got this thing with various toys. It'll always squeak at one end. So she always gets it out, finds out where it's going to squeak. And she's like, great, I know where it's going to squeak. You got your squirrel, Rosie? You bring your squirrel. Show us your squirrel. Come on, get your squirrel. Bring the squirrel. She's like, yeah, no, I'm not working for you unless there's a reward, mate. Supersonic, says Simon VRDJ. Yeah, there's so many great. There's a 22-watt one, there's a 60 one, there's a 100-watt one as well. But there are lots and lots of Fender amps down the years, kind of 50 to 100 watts, that all do that loud, clean thing really well. Which I guess is where it gets...
Which ones did
confusing.
Paul Rivera design?
Quite a few, but there are some silver panel ones, I think. And I think, didn't he do some of the red knob ones?
Right.
Did he do some of those?
Yeah. I thought it was a Supersonic one as well. Or there's someone else that had a hand in those.
Yeah, I don't know.
I've played a couple of his amps. Gee, they're amazing.
Yeah, we should get one in.
Yeah. Very, very gifted amp designer.
So Matheson Sanchez is saying, I recently went from a deluxe to a super. The super is fundamentally different tonally from the deluxe and not in a way that I get along with. Yeah, sorry to hear that, Matheson. That's sort of what I was referring to. I think the combination of those 10s, the Alnico 10s, and whatever it is about the bright switch on the super and the added mid control, etc., it's quite a different thing. You might... rather than having to go through the pain of selling it, I would recommend trying some different speakers.
Yeah.
I know Matt Schofield's got a 64
That's what I was gonna say.
set up with different speakers, and it is totally different.
Matt Schofield, when I first heard him through the super, I'm like,
Yeah.
that's it. I'm selling everything and just buying 2 of those. It's when you hear the thing with the way that Matt played with the super is it was turned up to a point where it was really working, and then it's magical, but geez, that thing was so loud.
Because all of that you get in the trebles ceases to be a problem because it's overdriving past into just nice overdrive.
Yeah. How are we spelling?
Yeah. Yeah, that's how we're spelling that. 40 Watt Podcast. Thank you, 40 Watt Podcast. You say Paul Revere did the 2 series. So, yeah, you get the Twin 2, the Deluxe 2.
Oh, right, cool.
Yeah. Specifically, but also some other stuff. I've had a Deluxe Reverb 2, a Princeton Reverb 2, and a Twin Reverb 2. Very cool amps. Thank you for the
Fabulous. Thank you,
clarification.
mate. That's great.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, and this is Carson Green says, what about the Pro Reverb? People seem to love them. I gigged a Pro Reverb for years.
Great shout.
And it is a fabulous amp. It's basically half a Twin. And I why did I sell it?
So the Pro Reverb you're talking about is the silver panel one.
Yeah.
50 watt 212.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that is just a great place to be.
Yeah. This is great. I used to pair that with the AC30 and it was so good. The reverb in it was just to die for. It's a really great shout actually.
Yeah. Right, Rosie, do you want to go out?
Johnny T said someone was selling a Hot Rod Deluxe 3 for 250 quid.
Yeah.
And he was tempted, but he thought about it too long and lost out. Yep.
You sometimes see them. You
Yeah.
see them for
People just want to move them on.
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
You do have to be a bit careful with very well used hot rods because they do have, they picked up a bit of a reputation as being not very reliable, but that's not the case. The fact is they get used so much, they also get repaired a fair bit.
Oh, yeah, right.
There's like
Yeah.
20 Hot Rod Deluxes for every
Because
Deluxe Reverb.
Yeah, yeah. But
And there's probably 20 Deluxe Reverbs for every other amp you can mention.
yeah,
So,
right.
yeah, so they do end up getting repaired. Okay, right, let's move along. We're getting distracted. Kristen Abbott. Hey, Chris, how are you? He says, Happy New Year, my Shangri-La friends. No question, just wishing you all the best for the upcoming year. Please take one from the chat. Thank you, Kristen.
Oh, thank you.
So we'll see if we can do a simple one. Dan says, Satch Rules 101. Dan, what strings do you use in standard tuning?
11 to 52. And the only guitar that I don't use 11 to 52s on at the moment is the SG, the Les Paul SG. And that's 10.5 to 50s.
48.
Mix set, or 10.5 to 48. I may be going to the 11 to 52s on that. But because of the scale length, it feels right with the 10.5s on it. But everything else is 11 to 52s.
Stringjoy. We have Stringjoy signature sets and you can buy them at thatpedalshowstore.com.
Yeah, they're just
Very lovely strings they are too.
very, very lovely strings.
Derry. Hello, Derry. Derry says, Happy New Year. Is Bill Frisell still coming on the show when he plays the rescheduled concert in April? Yes, he is.
I was watching a
I
video of
didn't
him
realise
today.
it was April. I thought it was sooner than that, but anyway.
Watching a video of him today. I'm just like, this guy that he's playing with, who's amazing and doing all this stuff. Bill Frisell just comes on and goes, and it's like the coolest thing you've ever heard. It's just unreal.
Yeah, thanks for the reminder, Derry, because I do need to chase that up and find out what's going on. Whippoorwill 32.
Whippoorwill.
Whippoorwill. Says, hello from Seattle, Washington.
Hello, Seattle, Washington.
And Happy New Year. Congrats on the big 1-0. Here's to the next 10. Thank you for all you do. No question today. Please take one from the chat. Okay, thank you, Whippoorwill.
I got one here from Jacob Backer. When deciding between two amps that sound similar-ish and both great, do you go for the one that has more headroom or the one with more character?
Character.
I would say character. The only caveat to that is I would say it depends on the purpose. If you're going out gigging this with a loud drummer, you can have all the character in the world, but if it's not enough to get heard over the drummer, you're going to struggle. And so in that scenario, the one with a bit more headroom. I had an interesting thing with when I got my first Lazy J. Jesse was doing two versions. One that had a different power transformer and it just gave a little bit more headroom. And I thought, maybe I want the more headroom, but actually the one that I've got, the box standard J20, it was loud enough to get over the drummer, and the harmonics that it had when it was pushing a little bit, I just thought it's just the most divine thing ever. So as long as you've got enough headroom to do what you need to do, the more character every day of the week.
Yeah, I think so. Unless you are in that lucky position of being able to play very loud a lot. But that is becoming rarer and rarer and rarer and rarer. So I would say character.
Yeah.
And, oh God, it's a tough question because it's not always a straight dichotomy like that. Not always. Tom Kalori. Hello, Tom. Tom Kalori says, I play a Hot Rod Deluxe with a 112 Hot Rod Deluxe. Made in D in the loop. Very nice.
Nice.
I recently purchased an EVM 12L. Yes, you did. But I've read it can be too heavy for the baffle. Have you ever had issues with the weight of the EV with installation? Okay, I'm going to guess then that the Hot Rod Deluxe 112 baffle is particle board, is it?
Yeah.
That's probably because if it was ply, unless it was very thin, that wouldn't be a problem. So maybe it's particle board and that's what they're worried about.
I mean, my old Silverface quad reverb was particle board.
Right.
And all I did was I took a jigsaw and I cut all the way around the inside, leaving a lip of about that much, got a big bit of plywood and screwed it. And I matched the holes for the speakers, screwed it straight on, put the speaker straight in,
and it was fine.
Black spray paint on it. It was freaking fantastic.
Yeah, I haven't heard that specifically, Tom, but as you will discover when you put it in there, the EV is a heavy beast. You always put one in something and you're like, have I put two in by mistake? It is incredibly heavy. Also, you've probably already checked this, but do check there's enough clearance around where the tubes hang down, where the tube cage hangs down, and all of that in the back of the Hot Rod Deluxe that it can physically fit in there, because the EV M12L has got a bloody great cage on the back of it.
Yeah.
And it's huge.
Yeah.
So just make sure that it will physically fit. You've probably done that already, but...
Actually, and here's a question. So Singers Gordon's in the chat. Those massive magnets on those, if the power valves are getting close to those magnets, what's the effect of that magnet?
Oh, that's interesting.
On the power valves, and is it different when the power valves are working harder? Because I've heard a couple of things. I'm going, some of that stuff doesn't quite make sense, but I'd love to get your take on it.
Interestingly, so Matheson Sanchez says a WGS 12L will fit in a deluxe reverb reissue without modification. EVM 12Ls do not. So that's a deluxe reverb. We don't know about the Hot Rod Deluxe.
Right.
And Josh Lawless says, hey Josh, he says, is the Venus still on your pedalboard, Mick, and have you tried any different tubes in it? It is, and I haven't.
You don't need to. It sounds freaking wonderful. That
Yeah,
thing.
lots of people saying a slightly lower gain tube really sounds nice.
Oh, okay, like a 12AY7 or something, or just a...
It's this weird tube that sits between it's like slightly more than a standard 12AX7, I think.
Oh, is it?
I think so.
Oh, that's
Have I
interesting.
got that right, or is it slightly less than a 12AX7, but not as I get confused. Anyway, there's two types and it's in between. Two common types and it's in between the two. So, I don't know. I haven't felt the need. One thing I have found makes a massive difference is where you set the bias knob.
Yeah.
And that gives me the latitude that I need out of it. I use it specifically as a more mid-scoopy version of what I'm getting out of my Kingsley valve overdrive. So I have a very specific job for it.
Mm-hmm.
But no, I haven't tried that. Would be good
Yeah.
to try.
Gordon says, probably not much with the magnets. The free electrons between the plate and the cathode should not be affected. That is what I thought. Thank you, my friend.
Great. So yeah, Tom, you're just going to have to try it. Maybe
You can fit it in there.
have a scout around the forums and see if anyone's had any problems. I don't know how the Hot Rod Deluxe is constructed, but somewhat similar to Dan's solution, it probably wouldn't be that hard to figure out how the baffle's secured in there, remove it and build a new one out of ply.
Yeah.
It depends.
It depends because I completely mullered that amp. Like, because the particle board, if you imagine the inside of the cabinet, it was routed. So the baffle was a part of the cabinet build. There was no way to pull it out, and there's no way to put a new one in there. So I just went, dang it, and just cut it out, left it up, and screwed it straight in. And it actually worked perfectly. I was delighted with it. But I wouldn't recommend it. I'm not saying it's the way of the future.
No.
I wouldn't recommend it. Extension cabinet.
People do change baffles in amps.
Right.
But obviously it's a really key part of how the thing sounds.
Yeah, sure.
So, RBWR and Todd Roy are having a conversation, and apparently Flight Radar shows an RAF A400M passing quite close a few moments ago.
That was it. That was
Yeah, so we're not far from RNAS Yeovilton and also Salisbury Plain, so there's quite a lot of military air traffic around here.
Did you see they're opening up that village on Salisbury Plain for tourists?
They do it every now and again.
Yeah, I saw it in the paper.
Yeah,
That'd be really interesting.
I think it happens every New Year, something or
Right.
other.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, cool.
But is it permanently or is it?
No, just saying,
Yeah.
hey, if you want to get down and check it out. you
Yeah,
can go
there's
have look.
there's a village near where I live on Salisbury Plain that was requisitioned by the army, I think, in the Second World War, and was never given back, and it's quite contentious because people were forced to leave.
Yeah.
Compulsorily purchased, and it's still as it was. I forget what it's called. Anyway, right. God. G. Barge.
G. Barge.
Greg, how are you, buddy? He says, fearless leaders. Oh, God. Don't follow leaders and watch your parking meters, as Bob Dylan said. Happy 2026.
Thank you, mate.
Any recommendations for pubs and live music in Windsor this week? Ah, you're in the UK. Dan goes to Windsor quite a lot.
I do.
see
Windsor's
us, mate?
fantastic. Ah, boy. Yeah, I love Windsor. Let's see. There was two venues when last time I was there, two venues that had bands on. But I think there's 4 or 5 that have bands on regularly, but there's only 2 that had bands on when I was down there last time. It's a quick Google search. But they've got some nice venues down there.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever been.
Yeah, it's
don't
great.
think I've ever been. Now then, I'm going to deal with this quickly
Okay.
because Saya Walid 7590 says, headroom and volume will never not confuse me. Okay, Saeed, I'm going to explain it for you. Saya, sorry. I'm going to explain it for you real quick. let's say these amps are set at the same volume, okay? And they're set, that'll be the Gretsch case. Let's say they're set, Dan's plugged in and he strums a chord and each one puts out 95 decibels in the way they're set. Because this is on a 9-watt setting, it has a low headroom, right?
Yep.
Because this is 30 watts, and because of the way we got it set, it has high headroom. Now, if Dan steps on my clon, this amp goes to 97 dB. This amp goes to 104. So the headroom is, how much will it lift when you boost it? That is one example of how headroom works. They're the same volume now, but if I hit it in the front with an overdrive pedal, will it get that loud or will it get that loud? That is headroom.
That's perfect. Perfect.
There are many other examples, but there's one that hopefully you can stick with.
Yeah, that's great.
There we are.
Well
I should
done.
get my clon back, actually.
Yeah.
Thorpe's repaired it.
Oh, cool.
Thanks, Thorpe. The power jack went screwy. I was too scared to do it myself, so I got an expert to do it. Will drill hole into vintage guitar will not change power jack on clon. Well, what's that all about? Daniel Mincher. Hey, Daniel.
Hey, mate.
Good to hear from you, buddy. Says, Happy New Year, Legends. Please take one from the chat. We will. Okay, let's look for a question mark. Okay, here it is. It's from my account 534. He says, off topic, what's each of your favourite flavour of cake? Dan doesn't eat cake.
So I would have said like a sticky toffee, sticky date pudding. But now we've got a friend of ours who's a baker, and every year she bakes us a Christmas cake.
Nice.
And oh my word, it's full of rum and like a couple of different sorts of alcohol and everything. It's like you get drunk just off the fumes of it.
Is
That
Christmas cake.
and some brandy cream.
Yeah, or brandy butter, yeah.
Yes,
cream,
yeah. That's it.
Very nice.
And I think as much as anything, I know that when I'm eating that, I'm on holiday. You know what I mean? It puts me in the
function for a cake.
Exactly. It puts me in the frame of like this is time to relax. But her name's Rachel, and she's been one of Teen's college friends for years. She just far out. Her cakes are just extraordinary. But that's my new favourite cake. Her Christmas cake.
Okay. Which is a fruit cake.
It's a it's a fruit cake. It's a cross between a traditional Christmas pudding and a fruit cake.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
Simon
just
V says,
wicked.
Welsh cakes or Barrow Breath, anyone? Yeah, we know. Mine would be Hummingbird Bakery Hummingbird Cake.
Ooh.
So Hummingbird Bakery, I don't know where they are, US somewhere, I guess. And they do a beautiful cake cookbook, and I really got into it.
Oh, wow.
And there's lovely recipes, and it became a bit of a tradition. I make one for Catherine on a birthday sometimes, and the first time I ever made it, I'd never made a cake before, and it's quite a complex cake.
Oh.
It's a 3-layer thing with frosted icing.
That's so you. I've never made a cake before. What's the most complicated cake I could possibly make?
It's quite complex.
And I bet you nailed it.
I did.
Yeah, there you go.
But what I forgot to do was take
McTail,
off.
ladies and gentlemen.
What I forgot to do was take off the baking parchment between the layers. So you go to cut a slice, and we had to disassemble the cake to take off the baking parchment.
That's great.
Yeah, Hummingbird Bakery Hummingbird Cake. It's pineapple. It's basically a carrot cake made with pineapple.
Oh.
It's very good.
Oh, wow.
It's very good. And the American style cakes use oil instead of butter, and it's so good.
What sort of oil?
Sunflower oil, the stuff you shouldn't eat.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Josh RTD 88885 says Hummingbird Cake is the unsung hero of Southern baking here in the US. There you are.
Beautiful.
Yeah, we should do Bake Off. I seriously try and get Catherine to do it. She's a talented baker.
Really?
Yeah. Anyway, right. Happy New Year to all of you too, says Derek Cullen. Thank you, Derek. I don't know if there's a question in there somewhere, but If not, that is a very generous super chat. I'll check my messages to make sure I haven't missed anything. Apparently we've got some slight issues with bandwidth. Hopefully you're managing to cope out there. Simon V, how are you, buddy?
Hey, buddy.
Simon V RDJ says, hey DNM, I've ordered the Big Muff 2 and I'm happy for you guys to try it out against other pedals. Got to ask though, any 3 pedals or effects you'd like to see re-released or rediscovered in 2026? Love to all.
Okay.
They'll probably send us one, Simon, but thank you for the offer. I rather hope they'll send us one.
I would like to see the Maestro MP1 phaser re-released. I think it's the best sounding vintage phaser.
Thanks, BV.
Moon, what were they called? Moon Phase Electronics did a version many years ago.
Oh yeah, the Moon Phaser.
Yeah, and it's still it's such a wicked sounding phaser. So I'd like to see that re-released. What else would be good? I do often think that Boss could do a CE1 with the input gain and with the proper preamp and everything. That would be really cool.
It would be the CE101 chorus machine, wouldn't it? That's what it would be, like they've done with other things.
Yeah.
And I would be astounded if they're not doing that.
Yeah.
Because it's such a good platform.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
So that would be cool.
I would like to see some of the 10-bit delays come back. Digital delays. Because there's a handful of delays in that golden period of the early days of digital delay.
The 12-bit stuff.
12-bit, is that what I mean?
Yeah, I think so.
Is that what the auto BIM is?
Yes.
Yeah, 12-bit then, sorry. And some of those early digital delays had such a great sound. Like Dan's Auto Machines BIM, I think, today in this moment is the best sounding delay pedal I have ever heard.
Yep.
And it just has a thing. And I think some of those, am I right in saying that some of the Ibanez, Arion, that era of digital delay pedals, some of those were 12-bit?
Yep, absolutely.
And it would be super interesting to see how improved power supplies, lower noise floors, all of that could be brought back to that world.
Yeah.
Because there's one thing having a simulation of a 12-bit
delay
and another actually it being that. I don't really understand the technology, but
well, it's really interesting so I was first introduced to the Otto machines by Ed O'Brien, and he had all of them. He says, I'm really loving these things, and I thought that look weird. It's like a producer's tool. There weren't a pedal, no foot switch or anything on them. And I was just playing with them. I'm like, Mick, you just have to hear this delay. It's wild.
Yeah, it's really something about it. Just sits.
Yeah, because it's not an emulation. It's a different thing, right? It's a different process having the actual 12-bit process doing the delay, and it's like when you hear those old school reverbs when Meris came out with those sci-fi type 80s reverbs. When you hear this delay, it's like it takes you straight to that place. Really magical. And then you've got like the SD E3000, the original rack delays, the 12-bit processing. They done properly.
Yeah, it's
It's
a
so
lovely
cool.
sound. It's a lovely sound.
Yeah, great.
Okay. I mean, apart from that, there's so much available, isn't there?
Yeah.
There's such a unbelievable.
We're not hurting for variety, people.
Well, funnily enough, somebody said it in the comments. Tightest Crusher says Earthquaker today announced it's discontinuing the depths. I think a lot of companies are going to slim down in 2026. I agree. I think we're more likely to see contraction at this point rather than the sort of fearless expansion. Because, oh my goodness, there is so much available. So much available. I mean, I don't really have my finger on the pulse of what's going on music-wise, but gear and music have always had this sort of push-pull relationship
Yeah.
where new stuff's come out, artists have used it, made music, and then the music has sort of followed. And you know, it's an enabler, isn't it? An effects pedal is an enabler for a new sound, and that was the genesis of it. That's why they were invented in the first place, is because we need a new sound to sell a hit record. That age is gone, because now we're not really in that world anymore. We're in a world of pastiche and bricolage and sort of postmodernism when it comes to piecing music together, because it's all bits of what you've heard before stitched together in a new way, apart from the truly experimental, which is a whole other thing. But there's not these huge cultural shifts in music anymore that you can sort of...
You're not going to hear Satisfaction and go, what is that sound? Got to find that sound, man.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's unlikely they'll play it on Radio 1.
Yeah, there you go.
And no one listens to Radio 1 anyway, so there'll be no point playing it on there, because the market is so fragmented in how we listen. What am I trying to say? The driver for expansion and for creativity is very different than it was. So I think the market's driven as much by UI and how many features can we get in this damn thing so it looks good on a retail page. It's driven as much by that as it is, let's get a really good new sound.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah. Anyway, shall I be any more grumpy about it?
I don't think that was grumpy. I think that was insightful. I think that is the natural cycle of development. We've had this, sort of post-COVID massive. Everyone's going, oh yeah, pedals are cool, and you could release things and get traction. Now people are finding they're releasing things, and it's harder and harder to get traction, and the releasing numbers are fewer and fewer. You make fewer of those pedals, and the margins don't work. And actually, if we concentrate on the core stuff. It's like, I think of, take Keeley, for example. I mean, like the Nocturne reverb that they did with Andy, astonishing sounding reverb with a genuinely new reverb sound that I've never heard before. Wonderful, right? That's great. Worthy of this is really cool. Let's put some time and effort into this. But if you're doing something that is if you're releasing another Tube Screamer in a sea of Tube Screamers, you're going to find it harder and harder to get traction. But if you have a look at Keeley's, say that the Nocturne, astonishing, and they'll sell 1 million of them. But Keeley's core thing is always going to be that compressor. It's always going to be bread and butter.
Yeah.
And the D&M drive, of course. But I think a lot of companies will be looking at their offering and going, okay, the time and money it takes to put this together and this together and this together, we could use those resources better elsewhere.
Yeah, it would be fascinating to watch.
Yeah.
Fascinating to watch. I keep an eye on a few retailers' second-hand pages. I look at them most days, just to see what's out. I mean, A, I'm interested in what's out there. B, I'm interested in bargains. And astonishing how many pedals have come on in the last month or so.
Yeah, really?
Astonishing.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I mean, the pedal market is interesting. So, this is our world, and especially for like gig rig, trying to see what's going on with the market, and they're not. People are still buying pedals. People are still loving that journey, and it's not, especially with the digital thing. It's no longer an either or. People are like, oh, whatever sounds good. That pedal sounds good. Great.
Yeah.
They say it's sort of all in.
Well, watch this Friday show, and it makes the point. We don't actually say it, but it makes the point bleeding obviously. It doesn't really matter what you use.
Yeah.
Like, we both come up with half decent tracks using gear that we're supposed to hate. It's a rig your mate would hate is the name of the show. And yet
It's so fun.
we've made more music
doing that
than we have using gear we love. And what's interesting about that is if you're really invested, like if someone says, all right, Mick, take your 61 Strat, your 2 Rock and your Klon and go and make a track. I'm like, oh God, this is going to have to be good.
Yeah.
The pressure. And everyone's going to
That
say it
is
sounds bad.
Yeah, that is so interesting.
But, give me a guitar that's down there, a pedal that I don't want to go anywhere near, and another pedal I don't want to go anywhere near, and out comes a track that's all right, So there's something to be said for it. There's something to be said for it. It doesn't really matter what you're using. What matters is that you use it. So
yeah, that's exactly right.
And the pressure is off when you're not so invested in it. So not quite sure how we got there. Still drunk, probably.
Oh, Jeff McElwain's in the chat.
Hello, Jeff. Hello,
Lovely.
Jeff. Hope you're well, buddy. Murray the Camel says, do you think pedal manufacturers will continue to focus more on digital and analog will become rare in the near future? Yeah, I think the big brands will.
I don't know.
Anyone who needs to make anything in any volume will. Oh, that's already happened, doesn't it?
Well, it depends what we're talking about. If we're talking about, overdrives and compressors and, there's a bunch of stuff that analog is always going to be king with. But when you're talking about the thing with the digital technology, is it's very easy to reproduce, and it's a great, once you've got that platform, all of the investment is then in the software.
Yeah.
And like, see the thing that John Mayer released, right? And so you can just take that bit of software, zoom, and you've got all those sounds. Brilliant. The problem with the analog thing is all hardware investment. And it's expensive to do. However, people still want the analog stuff. It's why Neve are still selling their, so much outboard gear. It's why people who are really into it and they want that thing are still going to look for that thing.
Yeah. Also remember that I'm gonna lean out there and say pre the Britpop boom of the mid 1990s, and I'm gonna say pre 1990, the consumer electric guitar and effects market was smaller in proportion to actual pro and semi-pro users. There was always more consumers, but let's say there were that semi-pro and pro users and there were that many consumers. Now you've got that many semi-pro and pro users and you've got that many consumers. The market has changed fundamentally, and explosion of guitar culture or a re-explosion of guitar culture in the mid 1990s, through the 1990s to be fair, coupled with massive increase in production capacity and ability from Far East, newly available digital technologies, shipping being much easier, internet existing, and therefore online being possible, that balance of the market between semi-pro and pro users and consumer level enthusiasts is vastly more there.
Yeah.
Like if you take them away, the guitar industry collapses.
Completely.
It would literally collapse if it had to rely on pro users.
But completely. But this is one of the things is, those.
I don't mean that in any pejorative sense.
No, completely.
I mean it more in terms of now manufacturers have got a different target, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Because before their target was semi-pro and pro users. Now it's not so much.
Yeah. So much of the boutique gear, a lot of the players who loved guitar when they were younger but went off and did a profession, and they're sort of getting towards the end of their career now, and they've got some time on their hands and they want to go back. Not want to go back, but it's like they've got some space and time and they've got a bit of cash and they're like, okay, well, I want that guitar that I never got when I was 19.
Yeah.
It's fabulous.
There's a demographic factor in that though. A significant demographic factor, and we watched it happen, where, between 19 43 and 1950, there was a giant baby boom,
Yeah, right.
colossal baby boom. And all those people turned 40, do the maths, in the 80s and 90s. Surprise, surprise, quite a few custom shop Les Pauls start selling around that time, right? And then figure out the generational gaps as they start to filter down. And what's happening now is those generations are getting more spaced out, and the effect of that baby boom on consumer markets has changed considerably. And it fueled cultural, creative and musical movements as well, because there just happened to be a large number of people of the right age at the right time.
Yeah.
And demographically, that is changing. Somebody here put it slightly differently and more succinctly by saying nostalgia is dying because all the old people are dying. Well, it's partly true. But that nostalgia is certainly passed down and passed along. And I say it every bloody year, you go and walk around Download, tell me the guitar band T-shirts that you see.
Oh, yeah.
It's AC/DC, it's Rush.
It's Zeppelin, and yeah, of course.
Yeah, Black Sabbath, you know.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I wouldn't write it off just yet. But I am sort of fascinated that whole effect of demographics, cultural movements, and that has been obliterated by the fact that the generations are now sort of intermingled from that baby boom, but also the internet has meant that those mass cultural movements don't happen anymore.
Yeah.
Because it's so fragmented. And that has a direct effect on what you can sell where.
But it also means that...
How did we get onto this?
Yeah. We keep going on that, but anyway. Next!
Yeah. Wow. Okay, Zachary Manzanetti. Hello, Zachary.
Hello, Zachary.
Nice to hear from you as always, buddy. Says, how about a show focusing on how to bring your guitar to the stage? Especially, what do you need once you have a show-ready rig? Everything from mics and mixers to monitors to EPKs. What? How to take your guitar live?
That is so interesting. What's
an EPK?
Electronic press kit.
That's what I thought, but
yeah. So as in how to get a gig.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. So I've been doing a vlog of my band and the rehearsals and up to the first gig and everything it takes, and I've interviewed the owner of the Vic in Swindon, who's also a promoter, and about what they look for in new bands and all this stuff. It is super interesting if you haven't done it before. There's a lot to do it, but one thing that I found really interesting was that promoters will book a band. You really don't need a lot. If you can just send them a video of you at a rehearsal, they just want to know that you can make a decent noise. And he's saying that I guess we always knew this, but the younger bands they're out there, but I don't know if it's a confidence thing or whatever.
It totally is.
Yeah.
It's sales like any other.
Yeah, right.
If you're trying to sell something and you seem desperate to sell it, no one's going to buy it.
Right. Yeah.
If you're trying to sell something and you don't care if you sell it or not, someone will buy it. And I've had this discussion with the pub band. Like, they want to make a video so we can put an EPK together to go out to pubs. I'm like, no. Honestly, if we really want a gig, I will go in there, I walk in the pub and I will get us a gig.
Right.
It's not hard.
Yeah.
You might not get top money first time, but it's, there's a bit of swagger involved, and there's just a bit of personable contact with the person booking the bands. If you think they've got time, if we get into really decent venues which are superly oversubscribed with bands, that's a different game. But you're probably not looking at that if you're just getting going. You're looking at something less ambitious. You're looking at your local pub. You're looking at your local bar. You're looking at something just to get you going. And you can usually persuade someone to let you play somewhere as long as they have bands, obviously, and just start. Because I think the danger is not unlike us getting our pedal boards perfect and our rigs perfect, all rig, no gig. Who's Brian Wampler? Is that his t-shirt? We can spend all that time doing all that work and not actually playing. So I just think it's easier to I know it's a leap of faith and you never feel ready and you always feel like it's a leap too far, but just do it and just make it happen. And what you'll find is the people who are doing that are the ones who are going on and getting the gigs.
Yeah. This is interesting. David Tompkins says, go in, buy a drink first so that you are a paying customer, then ask.
That's exactly what I mean.
I love that. That's great.
Yeah. But if the question is more prosaic than that, Zachary, and you're actually talking about the sort of technical aspect of getting your rig gig ready, that's a slightly different thing. That's a smaller thing. And that's just about making sure everything works, everything's quiet, you've got everything you need, and you're not stressing about it.
Yeah.
So,
but also, what we do in here week after week, when you put that in the context of a band, everything changes. And it's important and we bang on about it all the time, but it's so important that when you've got your rig together, you're playing at gig level so that you can, feel what it's like and get that interaction with the amp and make sure that it's like, the thing that we hear the most with guys who've got their tone and everything perfect. They go into the gig, they turn up and everything changes and they become very uncomfortable.
That still happens. That happened to me 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, right.
Same thing,
Yeah.
so it's never going to be perfect. You just need to do it and do it as much as you can.
There you go.
If you have the inclination and if you're young, do it.
Yeah.
Do it,
sure.
because everything gets harder when you get older, for so many reasons. So yeah, just do it.
Yeah.
Just do it.
Beautiful.
And remember,
Wherever you go,
the
there you
people,
are.
unfortunately, need to be entertained.
Yeah. I'm down with that.
Yeah, they don't care if you get the guitar solo right, wrong, or otherwise. They just need to be entertained.
Yeah.
So you do need to work on that a bit as well.
Yeah.
It's so horrible, isn't it, when you realise that that's what you're there to do.
I'm very fortunate is that in my career I've played with some incredible front people who've really known how to grab the audience.
Yeah.
I'm not that guy, but
you're pretty good at it.
But the only reason I'm okay at it is because I've seen people who are amazing at it. I've been on stage, I've seen what they've done. I'm like, I had a guy, I was in a band in Sydney called the Wheelers, and it was the drummer from Icehouse and the drummer from Spy vs. Spy on guitar and vocals. We would do an hour gig and he would talk for 40 minutes of that hour, and everyone loved it. He was flippin' hilarious, but he just had that personality on stage that he just commanded the audience. That was Mark Cuff, the best front man I've ever worked with. Just astonishing. Yeah.
It's yeah, I mean, I don't know, if you all go on with dark suits and sunglasses and you razor's edge them from start to finish, no one says a word, the light show is perfect, I mean, that's entertainment of sorts as well.
Yeah,
so it depends what you're trying to achieve.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
Every band I've been in, it's always been a bit of a joke. It's sending them up and winding them up enough so they can laugh.
Yeah. If you're
with
having
you,
completely,
rather than at you or at themselves.
If you're having fun, they're going to have fun.
Yeah, but that doesn't work if you're in a Queens of the Stone Age tribute band, maybe.
Oh,
anyway.
No.
Oh God, we're sounding like we. Yeah. Anyway, let's move along. Mike 2203.
Hi, Mike.
Hey, Mike. It's really nice to hear from you, buddy. Actually, sorry, Chris Allen first. We'll get to you in a sec, Mike. Chris Allen says, "Hey, D&M, Happy New Year. With too few loops for the pedals on my board, any rule of thumb for which pedals are best to combine in a single loop of the switcher?" Right, so let's say Chris has got a loop switcher with 8 loops. He's got 10 pedals or 12 pedals. Which should he combine in a single loop?
It's a great question.
It's okay to not have some pedals in a loop at all.
Yeah.
So you might have a booster at the start or a delay and reverb at the end that has analog drive-through. They don't need to be in the switcher necessarily.
So that's a really good shout. So when I did Robin's board, because he has the delay on all the time, it didn't need to go on a looper.
Yeah.
Didn't need to go on a loop, sorry. That could be on at the end. And it's the delay and reverb, they're set, they're on all the time. So they're just at the end, and the other things are in the loop. So that's a really cool one. Same thing if you've got a an always on compressor, that can be on at the start. But one thing that's interesting to do, you can group your pedals in. So let's say you've got a chorus and a flanger and a phaser that you hardly ever use. You can put them all in a modulation loop and sort of pre-select the ones that you want to turn on when you hit the loop. I find that's great. If I use modulation a lot, so they've all got to be in their own loops because they're all programmed for different sounds. But if you don't, then I find that works really well. If you've got, you might have two similar heavy distortions, or you can just have a loop called heavy and, again, pre-select which one you want. It's all about working out which pedals are probably not, well, I can say used least, that you can group together.
Yeah.
Another thing, I've done a couple of rigs for people over the years who've had, one guy he had 4 sounds. One sound was, say, his tube screamer, that was it. One sound was an OCD and a delay, that was that sound. Another sound was a compressor and a slapback. And he had those pedals that created those sounds, each in a single loop. And he just and had them all on flip-flop mode, that sound, that sound, that sound,
so
that was it.
So if you always have two things on together, same loop.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's a nice way to do it.
Yeah.
Also, just finally, it might be that they're in loops for a specific reason. So the first time I ever used a loop, it was one of the full-tone true bypass loops. It was a separate little pedal, and I got it because I'd noticed that the bypass sound on my tube screamer was really bad. Or at least it did something downstream which I didn't like. So I put it out of 6 or 7 pedals. It was the only thing in a true bypass loop because it was a problem.
Yeah, right.
And that's part of the reason why Dan came up with the switchers in the first place, was because they were problem solvers.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's just to underline that fact that not everything has to be in a loop. Like if you've got true bypass pedals, if you've got loads and loads of true bypass pedals all together, it can get a bit sucky by the time you're all the way through. But if you've got a couple true bypass pedals that are out of the loop switcher, it's not the end of the world. It's really problems with buffers. Bypass tones, problem with buffers, and the general loss of signal integrity the more crap you have there.
Absolutely.
That's the point of a loop switcher, isn't it?
Absolutely.
But it doesn't necessarily follow that if you've got 10 pedals, you have to have 10 loops.
Yeah.
It is one great thing about doing that is it is a problem solver.
Yeah.
Like if you've got a problem with one of the pedals, you can identify it immediately.
Exactly. Yeah. That's a big thing.
That's more general. So
yeah. But when we did, so that's the way John Frusciante uses it. He's got the quartermaster underneath the board. All the loops are turned on, and he's doing the pedals manually. But if there's a problem with a pedal, the tech just comes along, turns the loop off.
Yeah. Okay. So he's like using it upside down then.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. Good shout. Okay, Mike 2203. Mike 2203. Nice to hear from you, Mike. Hope you're doing well, buddy. He says, in 2022, I got a USA Strat Performer series in peach sale for 999 quid. Johnny Kincaid set it up. It's played and sounded wonderful since. If you go for custom shop models, are they really worth the mega price tag?
You know what? It's so interesting. So we had an experience day, the last experience day of the year, and I believe he was from Denmark. Is that where he's from? And there's a company, and I've been to their store before. Haar Guitars, Haar,
Netherlands.
I don't know why I can't get that right, but anyway. And he had a Blackguard style T-style guitar, and Mick heard it first. He says, "Oh, you're going to like this," and just acoustically,
I didn't even pick it up. I'm trying to remember the man's name, and I'm really sorry that I will remember his name in a minute. He just stood there and he played a chord on it. I was like, that's a guitar.
Yeah,
that's a guitar.
It's amazing.
Yeah,
and so I'm there with that Haar guitar, and they're not crazy expensive. They're nowhere near as expensive as the custom shop ones. And I made being them going, that one just sounds amazing, like plugged in acoustically. Now, but it goes to say, like all guitars, they're all different.
Yeah, that's it.
And this guitar has something about it that I really dig, but you can tell the amount that I play this guitar compared to Red or 65, I don't play as much. I used to play it a lot more. We might be getting Seth Lee Jones on the show, who does all the B-bender stuff.
Oh, nice.
And
I'd be a good candidate for that.
Well, exactly. I'm thinking that because one of the things that Seth Lee is, he's an astonishing guitar player, but he's also an amazing luthier, guitar builder. And if he's in town, I might get him to put one of those hip shot things on here.
Remco. Thank you, Giorgio. Thank you. It was Remco.
Remco, there we go.
Thank you, Giorgio.
Yeah. So are the custom shop guitars worth the money? If you find the right guitar, they can absolutely... Look, Red is a custom shop. It's astonishing.
Yeah.
But guitars are people too.
But you're right, Mike. You know, if you get it set up by someone like Johnny and you just love the feel of it to play, then that makes all the difference.
Completely.
That's it. I think it's talking about Fenders specifically just for a second. I'm wedded, right, to this thing about specific vintage specifications, such as nitrocellulose lacquer. And does it make any difference to the sound? I don't know. Maybe not. Everything matters. Everything has an effect. But what it changes for me is the feel. And there's just something that I feel when I pick up a nitro guitar that's well aged, where it's just home to me personally. So that's important to me, and I'll pay for it. Is it a better guitar? Exactly what Dan just said. No. Squire Classic Vibe, custom shop. On some days, you may vastly prefer the Squire Classic Vibe guitar. It's just the way it goes. And I think the rule of thumb is, when you find a guitar that speaks to you and you like playing it and it feels great, that's the guitar.
Years ago, I was at Real
All
World...
the other stuff is up here, and I suffer from that really badly. And I don't know that's massively helped me down the years. But
years ago, I was at Real World Studios with Steve Rothery, and he hands me his old Squire. He goes, "Have a play on this. Tell me what you think." It was astonishing. And it's like, and that's been his main guitar forever. And it's like he just found the right, and it was a Squire. But those old Squires are different, right? But good tone is where you find it.
Yeah, and it can work. I mean, it can work the other way around as well, where quite often get accused of being snobbish for liking custom shop and vintage guitars. The snobbery works in the opposite direction as well, where you only play cheap guitars. And
because they're cool. Or
because you're like, those expensive guitars are, just the same as this cheap guitar. It's like, well, it's a bit more nuanced than that, to be fair. I'm chilling out about it all a little bit, I have to say. I'm not as stuck in my head about it as I used to be. I mean, I still, don't get me wrong, when I see a vintage style Strat or a 335 or a Les Paul and it looks like a classic example of a great vintage guitar, I go gooey when I see that.
Yeah.
That's what I like. But
I was at Robin's last week. Whenever I'm over there, he hands me guitars to play, but it's always like his old telly. He'll say he'll play something. He goes,
Yeah.
Let's have a play, and playing anything after he's played is just. But his old guitars, because they've been played so much by him,
there's a lot to be said for that.
They have a thing. What's that? What's the name of his the telly? What's it called?
Supernatural.
It's the Supernatural. That thing, man.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah. And I would say coming from Guitar Magazine land back in the day, we had this, I'm sorry to say it, but sort of bullshit idea that you could be objective about guitars and judge it on, its build quality and its sound quality and all that. It's just crap. It's all rubbish. Because it's all, you can, for sure, say this neck doesn't fit right and this nitro finish is soft. You can say stuff like that. But actually, once you get past a certain level, it's the connection you make with it personally is totally subjective. And the sound that comes out is totally subjective. It is totally subjective. And that's why Dan and I will always be a proponent of going with the psycho stuff. So if you feel something in your head and your heart and it makes a difference, go with it. Don't
Completely.
try and iron it out into objectivity. What the hell is objectivity when it comes to sound and music? There's, other than saying, that note is A440, there's not much that's subjective about whether you like or dislike something. So I'd just say go with it, go with what you like, go with what makes you feel good. And then that's going to enable you to connect more, put less barriers in between you and actually playing something meaningful. Because at the end of the day, that's what we're trying to do, isn't it? We're just trying to play something that sounds good and is meaningful and is a connection between humans.
It makes you look cool.
Well, yeah, that too. Flying V's all round. Anyway, oh God, we talk too much about it. Reeves Electro, Marcus says, we're renovating our house at the moment and the one thing we're going by is spend money on the things you touch every day.
Oh, I like that.
Same goes for guitars. In my more pretentious days, I bought the Terence Comran house book. And Terence Comran, I think it was, said you should own two types of things. One thing, the one type of thing is you use it every day. Mm-hmm. The other two things, it must be genuinely beautiful to you.
Oh.
Nothing else. I'm like, not sure where some of my possessions lie on either of those scales.
Okay.
I like that's sort of what you're saying, I think, Marcus.
My SG's in both of those camps.
Well, great.
Yeah. Box ticked.
There you go.
I am loving playing that guitar. Jeez, I just cannot get enough of it. But it's interesting though, because once I've been on it for like a couple of weeks, like I have been, I come back in here and I grab a telly and it's like, oh yeah, these are really cool.
Yeah. Well, will we ever get to the end of the super chats? Probably not, given the level of. You can tell us we've been away for a couple of weeks. Hopefully that was an adequate answer, Mike, and congrats on getting that guitar for a good price.
Yeah, well done, mate.
Scotty K. Hello, Scotty. He says, Happy New Year to everyone at TPS. Thank you for reigniting my love of guitar.
Oh, wow.
Last January after a 10-year hiatus. My fiancée is starting her own journey on drums.
Oh, wicked.
Thank you. Good one,
That's
Scotty.
amazing.
Dan's in a band with his wife. That's exactly what I was just thinking. They weren't husband and wife, though, were they?
No. Just Meg and Daddy-O just hanging out being... Yeah.
Good on you, mate. Hopefully that some fun will ensue and you can play together a bit. That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Justin Baylog. Justin,
hey, mate.
How are you, mate? Really good to hear from you. Says Happy New Year from Colorado. I'd like to start a band and improve my singing and playing. What are 5 easy songs to get me going? Also, I picked up a Frank Brothers Arcade 1. Wow. Here's to 2026 with you leading the charge. Thank you, Justin. They're really cool, those Frank Brothers guitars.
I don't know them.
James Bay played one for a minute.
Oh,
Like a
the
super short cutaway thing.
yeah, right.
Yeah,
Great.
Really groovy. 5 easy songs. Okay.
Well, they'd be different in America, though, wouldn't they? Than here?
What, the easy songs?
Yeah. Because I'd be thinking, if I was here, I'd be thinking, Oasis and, I don't know. But it would be different. They'd be different if you're in Colorado. You'd be thinking...
I don't know. Yeah, right. So what constitutes easy then? Something that's not so challenging either vocally or on guitar that you have to concentrate on. Well, firstly, that you're physically able to do it.
Mm-hmm.
So if you choose Free Fallin' by Tom Petty, make sure you can hit the... Or if not, someone else hits it and you sing the harmony. I've heard loads of bands do that and it's very effective.
Yeah.
But something like that actually is a good shout. As long as you can manage that when he goes up there. Listen to John Mayer's acoustic versions, very nice. And there aren't many pubs in America or Britain where you couldn't play that and people enjoy it.
Right.
So I'm going to suggest Free Fallin' by Tom Petty, as long as someone can do the high bit.
That's good.
Isn't it the same all the way through for verse and chorus? Hey, mummy.
Apparently Meg and Jack were married, but they were divorced before they started the band.
I've also heard they were brother and sister.
Yeah. Someone said they're brother and sister. 4 people have said that they were married.
So, you know... It's the same chords all the way through, isn't it?
Free Falling? Isn't it? Yeah. Yeah, I think it might be capoed, but yeah. So there's that. I think that's a good shout. Also maybe, what was it?
Soul Man?
No, yeah,
Soul Man.
do Soul Man,
Is that
Soul
the
Man,
way?
there you go. Someone has said Bad Moon Rising. I was thinking of the other Creedence song. What's it called? Anyway, yeah, Bad Moon Rising is great. There was a documentary of Creedence Clearwater playing the Royal Albert Hall. They found these the film after however many years. Gee, they were magnificent. So great.
Proud Mary?
Proud Mary, yeah. That's
Fortunate Son?
Fortunate Son.
Yeah,
It was really great.
I don't know that. Yeah, so something that's got chords in that you can strum and sing that's not too taxing, I would say. Trying to think what else what goes down well if you have to sing a song to somebody.
Crowded House for me is always an easy win.
Hard though.
Weather with You.
Hard.
Yeah. Beatles is always great.
Yeah, there must be a Beatles song in there that's not too difficult. What are people saying in the chat?
Yeah, Fortunate Son. Wild Thing, Proud Mary.
Wild Thing.
Proud Mary's good. Wild Thing's great.
Still get asked for Johnny Be Good. Still get asked for Johnny Be Good.
Radiohead, High and Dry.
Yeah, challenging to sing, but yeah. Tennessee Whiskey by Chris Stapleton. Again, quite challenging vocally.
Johnny T, Feel Like Making Love that is a wicked song. There's a bunch of free tunes that are great. We used to start with what's the name of this? This free tune we used to start Tin Spirits gigs with, which was just wonderful. But
Mr. Big?
no, it was oh man, it's been a long time.
Obviously wasn't All Right Now.
No.
Anyway. And let me guess, did Mark choose that?
No, I think Dave chose that.
Ah. Okay.
That was in our sort of prog cover day days, but that was great. Freebird, Wonderwall. Freebird's is tricky, but it's brilliant. Yeah, look, there's
Angel from Montgomery says No Regard Band. That's a great shout. Loads of people have done versions of that. You've got John Prine, who may well have written it, but Bonnie Raitt's got a great version of it as well. That's a great shout, actually.
Yeah. There you go. There's more. There's loads of.
Johnny Cash, I Walk the Line, says James Blessed. Yes, and
that's hard to sing. It is a hard song to sing.
I guess if it's his bass register.
Yeah.
Tell you what, Bruce Springsteen, I'm on Fire.
Oh, yeah.
In the key of E.
That's great.
That works pretty good.
Yep.
Anyway, there we are.
There you go.
Jumping Jack Flash, says Scott Curry. Yeah, we did that over the summer. That was boom.
Yeah, so I've only just done it recently, but it's a great tune. Man. Away on the crystal, the wave was like magic. That ELO
too
song.
many chords, yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, just major and minor bar chords. You know,
backing vocals nightmare, innit?
There's a lot of vocals in there, but it's a great song.
Friend of mine's in the Cambridgeshire area used to do Mr. Blue Sky's a 3-piece.
Oh, nice. I bet it was great though.
It was really good.
Yeah.
Don Maxwell, his name was.
Take It Easy, the Eagles, brilliant.
Yeah, hard to sing, man.
Yeah.
Hard to sing, but a great shout. People know that song.
Someone says, hot for teacher.
You must have been at the Cavern Club when Andy Simmons played it for that pedal show band.
That was funny.
Ian Jeffrey, hey, and good luck, Justin. Remember, the people are always behind you. They want you to do well. So, as long as you keep going, sing from the heart, they'll love it.
Yeah.
They'll love it. Ian Jeffrey, happy Gregorian New Year, says Ian
very
Jeffrey.
nice.
What guitar habit that you have done in 2025 might you give up for 2026? I gave up my Zfex Lo-Fi pedal on my board for £50. Okay, what were you doing in 2025 that you're not going to do anymore in 2026 then?
I'm going back to the. As I said before, I'm going back to the BIM, to the Auto Machines BIM. So the timeline will be coming off the board, but who knows for how long? Because it's such a great utility pedal. But for what I'm doing, I don't need all the stuff that it's doing. You know what I mean? I don't need all the swellio looping stuff.
David Burke says, does the new year belong to Greg or Ian? It's very good, mate.
Love it. That's great. Yeah. I'm going to suck less in 2026. I think I did some solid work in 2025. I'm going to keep doing that. But tone-wise, yeah, I think I'd just be more ruthless with my choices. Yeah.
I'd like to say my worst guitar habit of 2025 was not playing the guitar. I mean, I did not touch a guitar from the day we walked out of here on the 22nd till we walked back in today.
Right.
So, as much as I want to say I want to play more, I don't think that's going to happen.
Okay.
So it needs to be something more realistic, which is I've got a few gigs already booked for this year, and all the gigs I played last year were somewhat disappointing because my expectation of them was wrong.
Oh, that's interesting.
My expectation of them was not in the right place. I was too in my head about it. I was too fixed on trying to have this amazing tone and play as perfectly and all that, and it never happened. So I think it's not really a guitar habit, but it's more like, okay, I'm just going to accept this for what it is, not what it isn't, which is hard to do, and actively try and be in the moment of the band and the performance for whatever it is, rather than spend the whole gig wishing it was something different.
I like that.
And that is purely a state of mind. But it comes from not being prepared enough. And so you don't feel like you're prepared enough, you haven't rehearsed enough, and you carry that to the gig.
Okay.
And you just, I mean, you know, goodness me, we've given this advice to other people enough. I've just got to take it myself. It's like at that point, it is what it is.
Yeah.
And
yeah. Once you're there, that's it.
And
Just
stop
get on
worrying
with
about it.
Yep.
Just stop worrying about it. And that might, the conduit to that might be simpler rig. And not being so like, hey, it's my 61 Strat. You know? Just F all that off.
I don't know, dude.
And just don't be so bound up with it.
Yeah, I agree, but also that is an amazing guitar.
Oh yeah, it's not the guitar's fault.
Yeah,
it's
but play the guitar that you want to play without the connotations like, yeah, I know what you mean.
No, it's not nothing to do with the guitar. It's purely what I built it up to be. And it's you would have thought after doing all this work on psychological time and being in the moment, I'd be able to do it. But it's,
I think, the amount of time that you've been able to spend working on psychological time in everyday stuff is different to the amount of time you've been able to spend doing it musically. You know what I mean? Because and it's like it's the same thing. It's like you got to then transfer all that knowledge into practice doing it musically, because it's like it's not just a straight one into the other. Yeah,
I also think you know, give ourselves a chance a bit. You guys all know if you put a lot of work into one project. I mean, there's 4 different projects going on at the same time, so nothing really gets. You know, it'd be the same with the Danalogs. Once you've done, if you do like a run of 10 shows in fairly
quick succession.
Yeah, you know, even if you did 20 over the year.
Yeah.
Halfway through that, you'd be absolutely in the right place with it.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So you've got to give yourself a chance to get there. And I haven't really done that this year at all, because everything's been a different project, a specific bit of work, and so you're always on the back foot. And it would be nice to be on the front foot. Like you guys may have experienced this when you get in a band and you play a lot. You could almost do it asleep. And that's not to say that it doesn't have vitality, but you know the changes so well, you know the stops, you know the thing. You can literally be in the moment and everything else takes care of itself. And when you've experienced that,
that's right.
It's very hard not to have it all the time.
Ben Keane reminds us about some advice.
Well done, Ben.
That the great Pete Thorne gave us.
Yeah.
He said, the gig's not about you, it's about the audience.
Yes.
It's like, that's it.
It's great advice, Ben. Yep. God, imagine if there was an audience. Thanks for the question, Ian. Oisin Cook, hello mate, good to hear from you. He says, Happy New Year, any plans for more acoustic content? Yeah, we've been asked for this a lot actually. There's quite a bit in the suggestions from last Friday's show, so yeah, why not?
Yeah,
be good.
Up for that?
Yeah, yep. Thank you for that. Captain Sexy 90 says, hello, Dan and Mick. I'm sorry, the captain will be joining an Experience Day in May, just for giggles. OG clons are the best. Love from the captain. That's Captain Sexy. We can't wait.
Fabulous.
Yes, they are, by the way. Zachary Robinson. Hey, Zachary. He says, Happy New Year, Legends. Coming all the way from New Jersey. I'd like to say that I got myself a Vox AC15 hand-wired and a second-hand 72 thin-line Telecaster.
Get in.
Make some fine noise with that, Zachary. And Carson Green. I think it's last in, but I will check. Carson Green, hello Carson, says, some rag on boutique, but recently I had questions quickly answered by two founders, Analog Mike and Dan. That's why I go to the smaller brands first. Cheers to Dan, Mike, and all of you. Take a cue from the chat if you have time.
Oh, bless you, mate.
Okay, so what you're saying is you contacted Analog Mike and you contacted Dan and they got back to you quickly because they're small makers and they're in touch with their customer base. Yeah, I think that's what you're saying. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah. Yeah, and also we're both a bit
focused.
Look, I think I'll just say about Mike, before, at the very, very early days of GigRig, you know, this is pre-TPS, this is, I think, in like 2004, 2005, I emailed him, you know, just saying, I'm a massive fan of what you do, and, you know, I've started this small company and we do this, and I've asked for some advice. And he got back to me the next day and he was like, he was so helpful, and him and Robert Keeley, and there's a couple of guys in that world, have always been willing to pick up, answer the phone. And it's like, because they really care, you know. And Mike, for me, is in that ultimate boutique, you know, Mike just, he lives for it. He works on the stuff all day. He gets home and goes and plays guitar in his, you know, his Madison Square basement, gets the boys over for a jam. It's really, that for me is you're dealing with people who live and breathe it. You know, when you find people like that, it's that thing that we talk about quite a lot. You know, when you're into this stuff, it's a lot to have in common with someone. And, you know, if you really care about it, and you find a brand, whatever, that also really cares, it's wonderful. And it's a good thing. It's a good
nice
thing
to find them. And in this late stage capitalism that we're in, you don't buy features and benefits anymore. You buy from people.
That's right.
You know.
Yeah.
I'd be cruel and say no one buys a Paul Reed Smith because of the guitar. I don't mean it in that way. I mean it like you buy because of Paul. You buy GigRig because of Dan. I mean, it's undoubtedly an awesome piece of kit, but without Paul or without Dan, it doesn't work. Without Analog Man does not work.
That's right.
So, you know, without Josh Scott, JHS doesn't work, etc.
Yeah.
It's crucially important.
Yeah. Todd Roy says, Dan, what's the neck like on Robin's telly? I heard him say that he thought it was thicker than when he first got it. It's the best telly I've ever played.
Smaller than you would think, though, isn't it? The neck?
It is. It is
because it's
smaller.
a 60, right?
Yeah.
And it certainly is the case with Strats. Those 60s, they get bigger. They tend to get bigger. The more you play, the more you notice that they do get bigger. 60, 61, 62, 63. And I don't know if it's the same with tellies, but I smaller than I thought.
Yeah.
The neck.
But you know
by
that,
the nut.
You know that
it does
thing,
that. It increases in depth.
But. Yeah, but that thing that happens on your Strats where it gets there, it's all chunkified, happens less on tellies.
Right.
It's like the 66 is basically square all the way along.
Yeah.
And then Yeah, but I've seen the thing on Strats where it does that.
It's definitely an earlier 60s
Yeah, yeah.
and 50s thing.
Okay.
Good. Carson, you said take a chat if we have time. We've probably got time just for one quick one to see us off, as it were. This will be nice and quick. Josh, PJ6UH, which probably is Paju, says, Josh, what's your go-to analog delay pedal?
My old 89, Ibanez 89.
Brilliant, it
I've
is too.
been using that forever, and it's astonishing. I just love it. Best slapback.
Mine, somewhat annoyingly, is the one that's on my pedal board, which is the Chase Bliss Tonal Recall Red Knob model.
Why annoyingly?
Because you can't get them.
That's right.
But it sounds fantastic. You can have presets, even though I can't work it out. And you can do expression pedal control, and it's really teeny tiny and small.
That's what she said.
And on that bombshell, we bid you adieu. Thanks for being with us. Friday is a
thanks,
rig
everyone.
your mate would hate.
That's so fun.
Yeah.
Thanks, everyone.
Not saying anything. Not saying anything at all. Not saying a single thing. Where Dan and I actually make something approaching music. See you Friday. What's that, Danny boy?
Oh, Danny boy.
Oh, come on!
Snap the string!
Start as you mean to go on.
Get in!